Welcome back to Breakfast. It's been revealed thousands of migrant workers are being exploited in New Zealand. New figures show nearly 200 employers are being investigated for alleged migrant exploitation or breaching visa rules. Immigration New Zealand says its accredited employer work visa is designed to stop exploitation and visa breaches by ensuring only accredited employers can hire migrant workers. And it says that most employers are playing fair. But to August 28th, there have been 758 complaints against accredited employers, with 188 active investigations. To the same date, 7 employers have had their accreditation revoked and 11 have had it suspended. 63 other employees are under assessment to have their accreditation revoked. Joining us to discuss this is licensed immigration advisor Ankur Sabharwal. Ankur, I'd like to ask you, how have we got to this situation that accredited employers are the ones that are being investigated?
Yeah, morning, Anna. The employers are being investigated because their documentation wasn't verified earlier. So what's happened is that TVNZ has used this approach of, I call it a high trust model, where they are just trusting the employers. And mind you, a lot of these employers are good employers, but then there are bad actors as well.
So if they're accredited, have they actually been through a check?
No, this is the problem. TVNZ calls it the light touch. So you submit your documentation. Some of my accreditation applications have been approved in less than 2 hours. These are not, I don't believe that, there is any human intervention there. I think they're using artificial intelligence, their systems are actually deciding. So some of these employers have actually had 1 staff or 2 staff in the past. All of a sudden they want to hire 5 more staff, 10 more staff. Nobody is asking, why do you need all these workers all of a sudden? Can you actually afford to pay? TVNZ is not looking at their bank statements or their financial statements, so there are no checks going on. This is precisely why we are in the mess that we are. I was here in May, and at that time I was talking about visitor visas, and I was saying the problem is we don't know who we are letting in, and this is quite similar. We're not doing any checks.
Now you know
hardly
that
any checks.
Immigration New Zealand also know that their own system is bad, right? Like they've submitted their own tests.
This is a recent column, just a couple of days ago. It was on Stuff. TVNZ staff, immigration officers are now contacting media because, they believe that they've been put under pressure. They've contacted media. They've said that, look, we've been asked to ignore criminal convictions in cases of work visa holders. We've been asked to approve applications without checking attachments. Immigration officers tested this for themselves. They concocted a dummy visa application. Rather than submitting actual supporting evidence, they uploaded photos of their pets.
Of a dog and a cat?
Of a dog and a cat. And allegedly that application was approved. So I don't really know which country operates an immigration system like this where there is no integrity. Immigration officers, immigration managers, senior managers, they are meant to help us maintain the integrity of the system, but they are telling their staff to basically not do any checks because it's become a numbers game now.
This is a mess. Is there any way that this investigation is going to get to the bottom of the issue?
Well, that really depends on the Minister of Immigration. I think it's time that he goes back to TVNZ and says, look, this low-touch policy, this high-trust model isn't working. They need to use a sensible approach in terms of, checking documentation, asking these accredited employers to provide evidence, why they need to hire so many more people now. Are these jobs actually genuine? Can the employers actually afford to pay? A lot of this happens in the labor hire space, which means these are employers who are basically placing. A lot of these times they're placing workers with third parties.
So it's usually construction or labour type work that these employers are with?
Not necessarily construction, but a lot of this is done in the construction industry. What happens is that labor hire companies will hire staff on their payroll, then they will send them to third parties to go and perform, the job.
And so, Ankur, what happens to these migrants now?
Well, nobody knows the actual number, but I think...
How many do you think it is?
I think it could be in thousands. We could have thousands of workers here who've landed here on fake job offers, but because nobody cared to check, now we don't know what's the actual impact of it. Another couple of hundred or about that number are stuck overseas. Immigration New Zealand says that they've contacted them to not travel here at the moment because their employers are being investigated. I mean,
it's a real mess, right?
I mean, you've approved those visas. It's like issuing somebody a driver's license, allowing them to drive, and then one of these days just saying, hey, look, we just want to make sure that we check, how to drive. I mean, I don't really understand the process map which is being followed at ANZ these days. I think
something's got to change.
Yeah.
Ankur Sabharwal from Visa Matters, thank you very much for your time this morning.
You're welcome, Anna. Thanks.